Hi everyone! So I'm very excited to be doing a somewhat simple but maybe a little bit out there look with the yellow shade from the Viseart Editorial Brights palette. That is going to be my main focus and pretty much the main color that's going to be on my face. I think the only color that's going to be on my face. I want to do a monochromatic editorial makeup look. I was inspired when I drew this color for my ProjectPanPorn and I started getting ideas. People started suggesting things and I was like, I really want to do simple editorial makeup, something that would be in like a fashion magazine with like the "Here Comes the Sun" title or like something like that, you know, some kind of cheesy thing. But I love editorial makeup. I love looking through fashion magazines and seeing those things, especially just the simple clean skin paired with some sort of colorful thing or some one particular focus, as opposed to like a lot of like Instagram makeup you see is like kind of a full face, more of like a heavier glam makeup. And with editorial makeup, it tends to be somewhat on the fresh side, or at least that's my preference. Those are the editorial things that I'm drawn to, like either very minimal makeup and just like the fresh glowy skin, or things where it's like eye focus, cheek focus, lip focus, or some interesting story. That's the thing that inspires me, is when makeup has some kind of a story, like when I'm looking at those editorials. So I thought that I would try this, and I've been thinking about it for the last like couple of days, so I'm excited, very excited. I'm going to do a very simple, basic, just clean, fresh makeup look. I have a wig I want to wear too for this look, that black wig with the bangs. I'm thinking that'll be the perfect pairing for this all yellow makeup. I should have brought like well, I have a ton of headbands around, so that's no excuse, honestly, if I really wanted to. Should I grab a headband for this? Perhaps. The very first flower crown on top of I have a couple of containers with like headbands and flower crowns and stuff in it. The very first one I saw was this yellow flower one, which might actually make it into the look. We'll see. I'm gonna take a few photos for Instagram and stuff too, and kind of see what I can do with some sort of image as well. That's also part of the fun for me when I do this sort of more dramatic, shall we say, look. Although I'm not planning on incorporating any like black eyeliner or falsies or anything like that. So I'm going to take the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Oil. So I was just going to use like a flake base oil, and I saw this sitting here and I thought, why not drip it across my face like I do Instagram video style. Okay, so I'm actually having some issue with the face oil and the moisturizer I'd applied earlier, but that's a really simple remedy. I'm just going to kind of tissue off a little bit and then go back in with more of the primer oil. I thought the moisturizer had been on my face for long enough that I wouldn't have that kind of reaction with my skin, but just going for as glowy as possible. This is just fun time. Honestly, I just really wanted something super sunshiny and sunny as well. I really wanted to go for spring inspired, I think now I actually am thinking I'm gonna keep the flowers. It's a happy accident. I've been revisiting some of my old fashion magazines again. I don't have a lot of my older ones anymore. Like I had, and I'll use the term fashion magazine loosely, because they're mostly like teen magazines from like the late 90s and early 2000s, but I thought it might have been fun to like recreate some of the sort of makeup editorials that were in those. I do have some older other magazines. I don't have many left anymore, but it's interesting to go through and look at the different ads and look at the fashion, and I've been getting some inspiration from that as well. I'm thinking like, why not recreate some of those looks right now? I love MAC Strobe Cream because it's really gives me that sort of glossy, glowy skin, and it just makes me, yeah, that's so descriptive, right? It just makes me feel very glowy and luminous, and it makes me feel like my skin is fresh, even when I'm not feeling like my skin is the greatest, and my skin has been going back and forth lately. So one little breakout there, breakout there, scarring there, psoriasis there. Lovely. But that's the beauty of a green color corrector. I'm choosing to do my regular sort of color correcting thing because I want to go lighter on the other base products, but I know I've got, you know, the massive dark circles, and I do have the few spots on my face, so I feel like if I can get just a little bit less foundation to go alongside and just kind of keep everything very minimal. That's what I'm going to go for. One downside of using those products and having greasy hands is trying to open product. I'm using the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Hydrating Long Wear Foundation in the shade 170, which is definitely a warmer weather shade for me. It's a cool tone foundation, but it's my summer shade, so it's not going to match perfectly, but I'm kind of embracing that more these days because I've been using sort of a mishmash of different products and trying to save some of the best stuff I have. Like, I haven't used the Fenty foundation in like a month because I've been trying to save it, and it's one of the better foundations that I have, probably the best one I have currently remaining in the handful that still exist in my collection. So I'm using other stuff that I can sort of get away with for filming and things, and the occasional day-to-day makeup, but honestly, if I do put any makeup on during the day when I'm not actually leaving my house, I will put on like eye makeup and like no face makeup. Just, you know, put lots of like moisturizers and that kind of stuff on my face and then put eyeshadow on. It's what I like. I'm aware. This is one of my favorite brushes to use for foundation, and it's not even a foundation brush. This is a Sephora professional brush. It's a mineral powder brush. I've had this for a very long time. I can't remember why I got it, but probably because I was using like the mineral powders, like Bare Minerals stuff. Sort of like Sephora 101, and I started using it as a foundation brush, and there's something about like the softness of the bristles that I just love the way that it applies. But with something like this, it can be a little bit streaky, which is why I alternate between like swiping it and like dabbing it, because it catches in certain places, especially because my skin is a little rough, we'll say. It's fine. It's fine. It is what it is. Again, greasy hands. This is YSL concealer. This breakout was like doing better. No, that's not gonna work. We'll probably just deal with that because I don't think I'm gonna put any more concealer on. I think that's probably gonna be okay. Just for the basic look. So alongside the yellow eyeshadow, I do have a yellow eyeliner. This is from Lancome. It is one of the liquid pencils, and it is the shade Soleil. Appropriate. I love pairing it with the yellow shade in the Viseart palette. So my plan, I want to do lower lash line yellow and kind of have a bring it down, so have like yellow blush, intense sort of blush, just focus like right underneath the eye area and around like the high points of the cheek, like a little C, and I want to have a yellow lip. And that's it. I do feel like I'm going to put a little bit of contour on because I feel like my face is kind of flat, and even with the yellow on, I think that will sort of help balance things a little bit. I'm not going for an intense contour, so I just put a little underneath my chin area, which, you know, this is also with this little tiny little red spot. If it shows up too badly on camera, depending on the angle, I can always edit it out for like photos and stuff. So ideally, you don't want to have to do that, but it just may not, because it was healing and I did kind of pick it a little bit because I'm a skin picker. So because of that, product won't sit that well on top of it right now. So just a little bit of light. Ooh, I just realized that the light was out. Bring that back. One of my studio lights was out, so probably accounting for some of the weird shadows. I can't seem to get the lighting right in here, but I don't think that really matters too much anyway. So I'd love to do like a straight brow but because of the way that my brows are, I don't think a straight brow is possible for me unless I really like shaved off half of my eyebrows or something. I've watched sort of tutorials of people sort of giving themselves straight brows, and I just don't think I can do it. You can see that kind of like arch I have, but even though like when this is not my normal face, by the way, I do have more hooded eyes and I tend to like raise my eyebrows when I kind of catch them. But like this is just like my serious face. My brows don't stay like that. Like they just have a tendency to curve a little bit. I've been using Dip Brow as always. Love it. I don't think I'll be doing a intense brow, she says, as she pencils in the darkest possible color. I'm mostly just trying to fill it in a little bit. The brows aren't the focus of the look, but I feel like if I skip the brows and even just went with like a brow gel or something, they might be too distracting, but I think the wig will sort of hide them a little bit as well. But I just want to kind of cover my bases and just do a fairly light brow. I've been trying to bring it in just a little bit more, not necessarily too much more, but sometimes I feel like when I look back at photos or even in videos, like I feel like, oh wow, I could have like drawn the brow in just like a little bit more towards each other, just a little bit. I feel like that's pretty good for the brows, really just a little bit of the dip brow, and I do have a clear brow gel. I swear it's clear even though it looks very brown. Clear brow gels don't stay clear for very long, put it that way. Yeah, so I think that's a really good start for the base. And then I'm going to go in with the eyeliner first. And I'm not worrying about being too precise with this because I'm using the Viseart shadow over top. That is the start of it, just like that. I feel like you could totally keep it like very simple. If you wanted to do a wearable yellow, put like your regular sort of favorite like neutral eyeshadow on your lid, put a little yellow on the lower lash line or in the inner corner, like a yellow lip gloss, you're good to go. It doesn't have to be complicated. I feel like a lot of people get afraid of colorful shadows because they feel like it has to be something super crazy, dramatic, and intense, and so many layers and cut creases. And you can do simple with color. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. So I'm gonna take that yellow. Yeah, it's gonna be probably pretty simple, light at first, and then I will kind of see what I can do for building up color, how much I want to build on, but I'd rather start minimal. So I'm starting to like just sort of get the little bit of the shape. I don't want to have like blush draping. Like I don't want to have blush up here. I really want to focus it on the lower. That's the vision I'm having anyway, but it might very well change. I might have been picturing it on somebody else's face. It can happen sometimes when I'm thinking about makeup. I'm thinking of like a different facial proportion, which doesn't necessarily work with my eyes if my eyes aren't like elongated enough, or if my like face isn't narrow enough. There's a lot of different things that can go on when you're just sort of picturing something in your mind. So the basic yellow starter. I need a yellow bigger brush for blush. I'm going to use this brush from MAC. It's Elle 109 brush, and I'm just going to dip the brush in there as much as possible. Before I go too heavy too, I think I'm going to put the yellow lips on, so I apologize for that because that's probably going to look a little bit nuts. And to keep it the same or as similar as possible, I'm just going to use a little bit of Inglot Duraline, and I'm actually just going to drop one tiny little drop into the Viseart palette, and I'm doing this quickly so I can kind of see. It's a little bit darker there. These shadows can be used wet and dry, by the way, but I'm doing that so that I can pick this for the lip. Accidentally dipped the brush I was using on my lips into the purple. It kind of looks a little bit more orange. So I do have a yellow lipstick. This is a lip palette from Anastasia. You can see there's a yellow, and I had considered using this earlier, but it's just a great primary yellow. So this is definitely going to be better with, you know, mouth shut and a pose, but I still need a little bit more yellow. So I'm gonna take this Morphe M441. Okay, now I am thinking of the blush draping, which I wasn't going to do, but I like that so much better. Okay. Well, I had the best intentions, we'll say, of keeping it with a somewhat of a different shape, but like I like that better than that, so we're just gonna roll with it. We're gonna do it on both sides. I love playing with blush and different placements of blush and bringing blush up high underneath the eye and bringing it close to the nose or far away from the nose, and it's fun to experiment like that. I'm gonna swirl around with that smaller Morphe brush again. Hopefully I wasn't covering too much. But see, now I'm just doing the C on the larger part of my face here, but still with the under the eye. I'm going to take a little bit more of that yellow, and then to kind of like blend the edges on this side, I'm just blending it towards the yellow that's already there, as opposed to the part on like my forehead that has no yellow, so it doesn't travel too far. This is fun. This is what I wanted, was just something sunshiny and fun. So I'm going to take some black mascara, because there's not going to be any lashes. I am putting a little bit of mascara on the bottom lashes as well. Okay, so I thought about doing a bunch of extra things like fake freckles and glitter and shimmer, but I really wanted to keep it simple. I wanted it to just be sort of like a yellow story. So I'm gonna put the wig on and come back, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like, sort of the final envisioned image. I'll show you with the headband, and I will show you without as well. So this is the look with the wig, with the bangs, sort of the way that I was originally envisioning it. But I think the flowers kind of sell the sort of springy, sunshiny vibes more. So let's zoom out a little bit. Ooh. You'll have to excuse my lighting in the frame, but I think the flowers sell it the most. Just last second, I decided to dab on a little bit of yellow blush on the nose. So that is everything for my monochromatic yellow sunshiny look. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun and very inspiring to play around with the Viseart Editorial Brights palette. This yellow shade has been a lot of fun. I'm finding some fun creative ways to use it, and I feel this is very sunshiny and just a really fun look, and I can't wait to kind of take a few little images for Instagram and stuff and kind of play around with it, and I'm feeling it very much. So anyway, let me know if you have any other video ideas, suggestions, things you would like to see with the yellow shade from the palette, or any of the other shades in the Viseart Editorial Brights, or just anything in general. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope we get a chance to chat soon. Bye for now.